When we last left our heroes, they were walking up a hill with a gigantic ball of heat and light heading straight for evil Elsa's castle, or morally gray Elsa's
Elsa.
castle.
And that's
Bernie,
essentially what happened the entire session.
we basically blazed a trail, melted all the snow. We're very wet because of all of the fog and mist from that. And it's probably really icy behind us. Like, you could race bobsleds or something, whatevs.
Easy
Um,
getaway.
easy getaway. We could just slide down. And yeah, we tried to make it a little sneakier as we got closer, but that did not work. However, she is quite intrigued by what she sees coming, which is a gigantic ball of light and heat. And so she's awaiting us right now, I believe. And we are pretty much, I think, outside the gates.
Will we get answers? Will we get death? Who can say?
Find out on this episode.
I did put a rank into negotiation and into charm.
I picked up the talents jump up and counter offer, both useful if things start to go sideways.
Oh, I picked up a whole bunch of fun things.
I also picked up that strain healing thing Joe suggested because it is true. It is a nice
Yeah, I
thing to
might
have.
get that soon as well because that's very good.
I picked up second wind. I picked up durable a couple times. I picked up dodge. I picked up duelist and defensive stance.
All good stuff.
So Amy's prepared in case me, Key, and Danil can't talk our way out of this shit.
I went defense too. I got 2 more hit points. I think it's the toughened one, and then some more second wind, and then some a level of soak, which is how I realized I should have had 3, and I've been using 0. So
Yeah, I picked up enduring and something else so that I got extra. I got ranged and melee defense now and a couple other things. Yeah, Nick says that house is probably not $30,000.
maybe it's just cursed or something like that. Like we could have some kind of ceremony to break the curse.
Ooh, we could call in the Dead Files and Amy and Steve can investigate. I love that show.
It has been so long since I've watched a terrible ghost hunter show, but they became, for a brief time, one of my great guilty pleasures. There was one I think called Supernatural Lockup or something, where the gimmick was they spent 72 hours locked up inside the haunted place. The editing was absurd, absolutely absurd. There would just be shots of someone standing holding a bunch of gear in the middle of like an empty swimming pool. You think, what are you even doing there? What are you doing? Why are you holding all of that there? You're not doing anything. Not even monologuing to the camera.
I always get super sucked into the ones that have like a medium that goes through the house, like not knowing the people. Like
that's the one. That's what Dead Files is. That's what Amy does.
yeah. Oh, I think that's what I'm thinking of. And like
then
that in Paranormal State. Well, I know that now, but back then, well, Dead Files might be too, but doesn't mean I don't get sucked in.
well, yeah, I mean, you gotta take anything on TV like that with a grain of salt, and I'm not saying that, Dead Files is 100%. I like the premise though that she goes in with supposedly no information, and then he does all the research on it, and then they match up at the end. So
It's like a reverse gender role of the X Files, then, where you have the doubter and you have the one who wants all the science.
pretty
I
much.
guess I would explain the name then.
She's nice and eccentric too, so it adds to it. Perfect thing to watch on a cold October day.
Oh yes, I love to watch Dead Files in October.
Daniel's just gonna look at Key, just like, your time to shine. Literally now.
Did she tell us her name? I gotta look.
Yes, she did.
Filda. I think.
It's like, yeah, something like that. Field, yeah, Fieldga or something. Fieldga.
EHILDJA, right? TH. Okay.
Um, I'll dispel my spell. I guess we don't need it anymore. We made it here.
Well, we might.
Can cast it again.
So,
Or
Key and
you
Key
I'll do
Fashion
it.
will probably just stand her ground, put her staff down, and look up at her. Bilga, we come with questions, but we do come in peace. Can you tell us why? Why are you separating families? It's not trivial to the parents. And the price is this? Is there any other price that can be paid? What would it take to release these children back to their families and for you to not do this again? And why? I will not leave here until I know why. children should not be taken from their homes, from their families. And at this point, she starts playing with her token, invoking Fianny. They're on the list. If that's what it takes. And she'll reiterate again, no child should be taken from their family. He won't flinch.
Daniel will flinch a bit.
Hula's fingers just kind of twitch. And Jorlak growls.
Jewel probably flinched. She took a couple steps back, too.
I didn't say I was pushing it onto you. I was asking you why, and you still haven't answered my question. Nature? What would it take to release those children?
What is it that you do want, if I may be so bold? What do you get out of this whole arrangement?
It is not the natural order of things to break down family bonds, especially when it's a loving family, and using threats such as protection. Protection from whom? From what? From you? From these elements? From everything in the forest? I could protect them, and I would ask nothing. I wish to give you something in exchange for their lives. You can have me. Wouldn't you love to find out? I don't know. Hold on. Feeney's just kind of, or she's kind of hoping that Feeney might intervene here because she's standing up for her beliefs very strongly. She's willing to give herself in exchange, knowing that it will work out in the end. She won't be with her forever. I am more powerful than you know. Why kill when we could hide? Magic is a wonderful thing. You could put wards up. You can distract them. You can keep them away. You don't have to break the bonds of family for your own sick, twisted needs.
Don't need to rule to protect.
They're miserable. Can't you see it in their faces? They want to go home. You are holding them against their will. Whether or not you say they came willingly or the families give them up willingly, they're doing it out of fear. They're not doing it for the right reasons. Pay them. Send them home to their families on Christmas or whatever. Give them an actual reason to want to come and work for you. That is what makes it sick and twisted. Are you allowed to go home to your family? I want to run detect magic on the girl. I want to know if she's under any influence.
Yeah, it just made me think we've never established like how you can tell if someone's telling the truth, like in D&D. I can't remember what that's not investigation. What's the
Insight.
which tends to get overused in D&D anyway. That's a little bit of complaint of mine, but sometimes it's worthwhile.
Right, but if she is being magically influenced in some way, that changes how Key reacts.
Not bad.
For some reason, I thought I couldn't use detect magic. I don't know why.
It's because back when we were doing a lot of detect magic, Key struggled more with magic.
That's true. No, I know I can't dispel. Yes. Okay.
I suppose. Oh no, go ahead if you
I'm
wanted to
just
say something instead.
He's having internal fight because at her base core, she knows that these families are irrefutably being harmed by this division. Even though it might be helping them in some ways, it just she's not sure what to do. Like she's getting ready to get into negotiation terms.
You know,
Or at least family leave.
just to see how this pushes things along, Daniel will vocalize this conflict. It seems we find ourselves at a bit of an impasse then. We certainly can't convince you to imagine a better world. And we can't very well try to stop you without destabilizing this whole region. And yet, our only other option then is to simply turn our back on anyone who has been coerced in any way. After all, no one can say no to their queen.
What would be the difficulty in a negotiation to try to convince her to at least let them have leave once a year to go see their families? Because Key could live with the fact that this is their choice to be here as long as they had the ability under her sanction to go back home.
It is probably not even the worst system as far as this world is concerned, but I am curious what what the objective is with the kid. Actually, Daniel will ask, so what is the eventual plan for the children you have taken under your wing? Will they continue to work in your palace into adulthood? Will they return to their villages at a certain age?
I can accept that they can have a better life here, and I can accept that you aren't harming them, but I cannot accept the pain in the parents' eyes. Please, I am begging you. One day a year, let them go home and celebrate some with their families. You know they'll come back to you.
Have any of the children ever chosen to exercise that freedom? Make visits and return?
This is out of character. It's then why won't the families talk? Like there's something else we're missing. I haven't put my finger on it yet because the families wouldn't have cared and looked so haunted if the kids were just able to come back home whenever
There,
they wanted.
out of character, there are two ways this leans. Either it's like, oh yeah, of course anyone can leave whenever they want. You're very well treated, aren't you? And it's like no one's going to say shit in front of her. Or or like the families are like very conservative about the queen's practices or something, like, and they don't approve of their kids being educated by her. I don't think it's quite that, but eh,
So
I
I'm
don't.
wondering I'm wondering since I am playing with that coin if like I could get like an intuitive feeling one way or the other from my goddess on if she's bullshitting me or if this is really what she's saying cuz my like real life person intuition is that I'm getting bullshitted.
Ula has a question. And she hasn't spoken up yet, but she's going to now because she has a question. So she looks at the queen and she looks thoughtful for a moment and she's like, "Why do you need children so often? Why only why once a month? Why not once a year, once a quarter? Why do you need 12 children a year?"
Ooh, I might have a way we can try to push her on this more. And if that doesn't work, I have a backup plan because we're still surrounded by like a lot of steam from all the snow we melted, right? Damn it. Oh well, too late then to use my whispers. But
I think she should answer Ula's question.
That's what I asked.
Who are you fighting? Everyone's so scared of you. They
I
won't
heard
talk.
something about a blizzard shark.
Yeah.
Frostborn.
Sorry, that was
Ice
out of
trolls,
character.
giants.
Sorry to interrupt you, Joe.
We've heard about the usuals.
How often does this happen, and how many do you lose every time? Maybe your strategy is flawed.
Okay, out of character, how many guards have we killed in just the last month? You know, like guards seem to be easy come, easy go here. So
Yes,
Yeah,
but
but
they
we're
attacked us
not
first.
killing child guards.
I realized that ice trolls have a weakness, a preset kill limit. So I threw hundreds of my own child soldiers at them until they simply shut down.
that's called the Iran-Iraq War.
Uh,
Or was it the Seventh Crusade? One of the Crusades of Children was one where we just sent innocent children to the Holy Land because there's no way anyone would ever attack children. Whoops.
yeah, there was a child crusade. Some rando preacher just grabbed kids to march an army. They're not yours. What is the life expectancy for the children taken into your care? How many of them have survived the battles against these horrors? Actually, this may be an opportunity for us. Something on which we can agree. We could try to investigate leads into the strange magics here. See if we can't unravel the curse behind these Frostfallen.
Fight your enemy for you.
If
Well,
perhaps
just to interject really quick,
Ed,
Jules really uncomfortable with her getting behind her and is going to do everything she can to back up so that she can keep seeing her. She's already backed up some. She's going to keep backing up.
Jorlak also Jorlak keeps a close eye on her, especially when she starts trying to get behind people.
If we eliminate your threat, we eliminate your need. Pretty much sums it up. Yeah.
How come you haven't tried to solve it yet? I feel like if you had tried, you with your powers and your reach and your influence, that you could have if you really wanted to. But I think you like to steal the kids.
well, that's just another benefit of working with us in this manner, because we are, to you at least, disposable. If we fail, well then, you're back to where you were, with our meddlesome ways out of your hair. But if we succeed, maybe we can perhaps lighten the load of this whole area. And to be fair, we have caused trouble in many lands we've passed through, not just your own. You know, we are well aware of your great and terrible power here. And if you're planning to subdue us and feed us to some creature, I assure you it's probably worth everyone's time more if you just send us off in a direction. We'll cause far more harm to ourselves in that way.
Also, Ula just wants to point out, at least out of character, I'd like to point out that Ula was trying her best to compliment her, you with your great powers and all of this. Like, like you could and should have done this. I mean, it was a backhanded compliment, but it was a compliment.
I think the more that she keeps circling, the more Key hardens her resolve that she's not going to let this be the end of it. That families shouldn't be taken apart in this way, no matter what this woman thinks about it being nature. And I think that she's getting so worked up that she's starting to glow on her burns. So if she's starting to get herself all worked up in something, so is Key. She's not saying anything quite yet. She's waiting to see how this kind of keeps playing out, and she hasn't revealed yet what's missing, right? I'm still feeling like there's something missing. Okay.
I think she hinted at it with that sacrifices line.
Yeah.
I think she's definitely appeasing some other greater power here, and that's probably the central reason for this predicament.
Her kids are not being, or her soldiers are not being killed.
I'm trying to figure out
Well, they might be.
what to
But-
ask her and what the role would be. You know what I mean? To like just kind of point blank say, I know you're not telling us everything. What are you leaving out?
You can just say that.
All right, I will. I'm going. I'm just going to say to her, you're not telling us everything. What are you leaving out? I guarantee it's the fastest way to make us leave.
Is that because you believe it's an answer we wouldn't want to hear?
Okay, Jewel's gonna jump in and try to diffuse things because this is getting pretty close to a boiling point, and she's not ready to go there yet. So she's gonna she's gonna step back in because she stepped away. Now she's gonna step in, try to physically do some kind of separating, and also talk about. She's gonna point out that some of her friends here feel very strongly about things, and she's going to admit that she can see some of the queen's points, and that a ruler has some rights. But what seems to be a sticky wicket is that the children are chosen instead of being able to take volunteers from her community. And so she's going to ask about that point of what could something be done to appease all parties here where people volunteer as opposed to being chosen for this service. Why do the kids have to be chosen by the queen? But there must be orphans or people who have too many mouths to feed.
Why not ask the children themselves?
Parents willingly give their children, in other realms, parents willingly give their children to universities or to monasteries in hope for a greater good for the community, a greater life for their child.
I wouldn't necessarily say targeting you. I would say we are negotiating with you.
But I'm saying they're the parents are voluntarily giving the children. That's the difference that I'm trying to point out. Whereas you as the queen are choosing. Who does the choosing?
On your orders. Again, this is a negotiation. We're trying to help make things right for everyone.
No, no leads at all.
Why, children? Why not ask? Hmm. You you are not telling us everything.
Why do you hope to train them? You've emphasized this quite a bit over the course of the conversation. Desire to train the children in different crafts, trades, combats, and send them back out to the villages. What do you hope to accomplish as years go by for for those people, for this region?
So again, what is letting them why don't more go home? What is letting them spend time with their families while they're helping you? What difference would it make if they are going to lay down their lives to protect you? Even the most staunch militaries give their men leave.
They also usually staff themselves with adults and train them when they are of age.
Again, they're on the list. It doesn't just stop here for me. Just because someone else is doing something doesn't make it right. It definitely is still wrong. Just because something is happening doesn't mean it is right. She pulls up her sleeves. She's glowing. It doesn't make it right. It does not have to be. You
Well, there are quite a few books on those. The philosophers and rabble-rousers of the world have come up with many different ideas. They say, in some places, they practice a form of government called democracy, in which leaders are elected. Some permutations, there isn't even really an overall leader that's just sort of local organizations that work independently, cooperate with each other when need be, those sorts of things. Some people base it upon their trade unions, collections of workers even. I'm sure I could find quite a bit of literature if you're ever interested in a vision of a better world.
Daniil was a Marxist all this time. Like, he's trying to spread Marxism across the globe.
Ula's just cut when she said like what, Ula's just kind of staring at her like, really? Like, we he literally gave you an option of, not forcing them but letting them choose. Ula's just
Right.
like, really?
She has given her more than one option that Key would be absolutely fine with, and she has been saying no. So she wants this arrangement for another reason. And Key will say to her, the day I stop fighting for a better world is the day I have no more hope. And she is literally just holding on to her coin in her fist as she says that with so much conviction. Having like a sudden urge to throw the coin at her.
It'll melt her.
Yeah.
Would that we could be so lucky.
I don't really know how this coin works yet. Like, she knows
Maybe you
that
can-
like it's helped her, but she's like,
Maybe you can somehow
It's her
call
tone.
upon your goddess to help you right now.
yeah, I suppose I could.
Like, just even if you just have to say a
Well, I was
quick-
kind of hoping saying that line with all that conviction would have like brought a smite down or something. I have to roll for it.
I think we may just have to make a decision as to whether we back down and try to work this another way, or if we go for it now.
In Key's mind, she's given her plenty of opportunity to negotiate and work with us, so she's ready for whatever comes next. Like, we have been nothing but reasonable and giving her plenty of options to choose from that should work for all sides. We don't know the missing link.
I mean, it only took like 6 years to negotiate Brexit. I bet we could negotiate this in like 3.
Child labor exit.
Look.
Exit.
Will killing her potentially make things worse for this region? Yeah, maybe. But if she refuses to tell us why and how, it's her fault that we didn't go away. All right. She wants to give us like a convincing moral argument. She can tell us.
That's true.
Flat
Yeah,
out told her.
You want us to leave? Just tell us what's going on.
Yep.
I mean, Daniel will try to give like a questioning look at Key, like a what's-the-call sort of look, because
So Key, okay, so this is what Key's gonna do. Since the coin is glowing very hot in her hand, she is going to say a silent prayer in her head, oh Fianny, because she finally figured out by reading the compendium who her goddess was. Oh Fianny, goddess of hearth and home, family, fertility, and harvest. Please guide my next.
Like my grandma.
Please guide my hand. Show me what to do. And she's going to give herself over completely to the heat in her hand and to the goddess and let fate roll the dice here.
All right.
Yes.
Did you see the note from Torque? He said your mic's not always picking up and it mutes sometimes. I haven't been noticing it, but if he is, it might be.
Yeah, it wasn't coming through. It never broke up for me.
Me either. Maybe it's
Might be.
Twitch or something.
It could be Twitch being weird.
Torque's lucky he gets to watch the Twitch stream and then also see our running commentary on the general
All
chat.
the gifs we post. Like last time when we absolutely lost it just posting dogs sliding down hills.
The Scooby-Doo going through the fog.
I forgot how much that one
Cut it
killed
with the
me.
knife.
I take a lot of pride in my GIF game. I do.
You pronounce it GIF, huh?
GIF. Meh.
Tomato,
I don't actually
tomato.
care. I just like joking about it.
I think I use them interchangeably, to be honest.
And are the rest of our voices coming through?
How about now? Yeah, you just said if you're talking now, I can't hear you, but I can follow along with the way everyone is responding. Hey, okay. Now you can hear me. You can hear everybody else though? Yeah, you can hear everybody. You can hear the rest of you guys just fine. Yeah, I don't know.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hey. That's somebody out there that can help us out.
He's quality control.
He's
Pretty
the
much.
producer.
Alright, he says we gotta start the entire campaign over. Alright, so you guys start off in a...
Suddenly,
Time for some reshoots.
Nikki's God just starts us back at the beginning.
We got a CGI in John's beard from like a couple months ago.
Oh my
Like
god.
Henry Cavill.
Alright. So yeah, so the warmth spreads up through the hand, through the arm, into the chest, and just spreads out from there. The rest of you notice that there seems to be almost like a soft orangish light that starts to emanate from her hand and then begins to surround her. As that's happening, the snow begins to stop. It's a light at first, almost barely noticeable. But then you notice that you can see the queen clearly. As you look around, something seems different about the queen. A little off. You see her, it almost looks like she's getting taller. Almost like her body is getting longer. Her clothing begins to kind of disintegrate slowly, as does the flesh. And as that's happening, she's looking, what's going on? This isn't right. Are you doing this? And she's looking straight at Key. And then you notice her body gets even longer. I didn't put a thing up here. She takes on a almost serpent style body. But there's big spikes of ice that are coming off of her back and her tail. I suppose that's what she looks like. I think I can put it in here too.
Did I just uncover a dragon?
So that is what she appears. After a moment, you do see some leathery wings kind of come out that also look like they're partially made of ice. And she looks over at you, her head just kind of slithering around. She is pissed.
Well, I suppose we actually may have been looking for you all along. We were coming out west here for a reason. I have several questions now.
Oh, I love it. Oh, you seem to be who we've been looking for.
Well, maybe. This is still very far east of where we got our clue to go, so.
He just kind of am I done glowing, or like, do I still have to concentrate?
So, as this happens, she turns into this creature. You can feel it starts to the warmth starts to fade. You hear softly in your head, and now you know.
Bitches, let's kill a dragon.
Well, hold on. Let's at least ask some. We have new questions now. We have new questions.
No, I didn't say that in character. Sorry.
You say Key's mission is fulfilled as Daniel's dreams are crushed in the same moment. We killed the only dragon.
Daniel, hold on. I've got
No,
questions.
what Key would actually say is, I told you, I am more than you know.
That may be. why have you forced this change?
I have forced nothing. And it's true! It is your lies and deceptions that have forced this.
I have not lied. I have not deceived. Just because
Well,
I did not show you my true form.
I'm going to say here, omission is deception. Just point of order.
Lie. Omission is lying. Lying by omission.
She's gonna say nothing back to that. Danil can ask his questions now. Key's kind of done
Yeah,
with
Daniel
the
just like
saddest
bouncing
moment.
up and down behind Key's shoulder, like, oh.
My turn yet? My turn yet?
So
It's interesting. Hold on. It's interesting to think about someone who's going under an assumed name, accusing others of lying by omission. But anyway,
You know what? It is by necessity that I have to.
you know,
We don't know anything
if
yet.
Key was kidnapping people and installed herself as a local lord, and people asked, "What is your deal, Key? We don't necessarily want to fight you, but what's your deal?" And she was like, "I
At
don't have
this
to tell
point,
you shit."
Key might be going by her real name again because she's ready. If she can take on this dragon, she can take on those assholes that are fighting, that are trying to get her.
Yeah, we can take that cult in a fight, maybe, probably.
We'll deal with that point later.
And they,
Let's deal with this dragon. we're getting off topic here.
sorry, that was my
and
fault.
so, no, it's all good. And this is your true form, right? You are a dragon, like from legend.
No dragon.
I admit I'm not especially well versed, despite the research I've done. So I appreciate any illumination you can provide.
Are we able to roll knowledge, lore, or forbidden to gain insight on what she is without making her tell us?
Yeah.
All right. Would that be forbidden or lore?
Lore. We'll go hard difficulty.
Boom.
Dragon!
Double boom. I did have strain to remember it, but it was only one.
I strained and I didn't remember it.
Jewel just reflects, I don't know anything about this situation.
But I'm happy
No
about
skin
it.
off my shoulders.
So, would he and Danil know, especially from the time in the library, doing a research on the dragons? She is not a dragon per se. She is what's called an ice worm, which is a distant cousin, essentially, of what a dragon is. They live in the north. They are very, very territorial. But a lot of times, they will, when they kind of carve out their own little area, they they'll use people as they see fit. Sometimes when people come into their territory, they look at them as prey. Other times they look at them as new subjects. More often than not, they're usually looked at in, what can I do to have them do what I want them to do? And basically find ways to use them.
Well, I suppose that explains all the appeal to nature arguments here.
100%. She's not a human. That makes so much more sense.
Well, I guess now it comes down to whether or not we believe someone can change their quote unquote nature. Well, I have heard rumors that there are some true dragons living in the Frostfell Mountains to the west, or at least one. Do you have any knowledge of this, or any other connection to draconic entities?
There's one. We tend not to deal with each other. She is very old.
Old enough to remember when dragon riders still existed in this world?
Yes.
Do you know her name?
Most only know her as Ice Sheet.
If we were to try to seek her out, seek her counsel on some issues, is there anything we should know going into a meeting like that?
You see her smile, or what passes for a smile. You see a lot of large, sharp teeth. Yes, you'll die. You don't want to wake a sleeping dragon.
But if someone had a good reason to do that anyway, there are any things we could say that would get on her good side, as it were?
I don't know. I don't speak to her. I don't speak for her.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. And also, I suppose this reframes the conversation we've been having just now. I'm guessing that control of this area is an important objective for you and not really a point you're willing to budge on.
This area is mine.
We don't want you to cede your territory. We want you to get what you want out of these humans, but with their own dignity in mind.
I can give them a better life than anything that their families can.
No one was disputing that. We were just asking you to allow them the opportunities to go home.
And I have told you, they can leave when they wish.
Obviously, they haven't been.
And how is that my problem? Yes, I have taken them from their families as payment for protection. Something you cannot do.
Protection from you?
Were you not listening, Orc?
I'm trying to figure out, because this is the now you know moment, right? That she's this worm.
I suppose ultimately it doesn't change the quandary. If she was human, a worm, doesn't matter. We take umbrage with her rule. And she's not willing to hear compromises on the matter. That being said, I am curious, this may be an odd question. Do you care about the fate of the children that have come under your wing? I suppose I mean that literally now.
Cute. But yes, they are all my children. Any that have come here, I have looked after. I have mended when they get injured. I have healed when they get sick.
Do they feel comfortable asking you for what they want?
Quite often.
Then why do you kill their parents if they show up to try to get their children?
When one makes threats against one, do you not take care of the matter? Orc? I know your people. Any threat, they will annihilate not one, but I've watched them annihilate villages because of the threat of one.
Clearly, you do not know my clan, tribe, whatever. My people.
Look, there are a lot of people in the world who would do awful things if their authority is questioned. In this group, I feel like we tend to have a scale of responses depending upon the degree of threat offered, but whatever. I'm not going to question you on this point. We're still stuck here, though, in that we don't know for sure what the children really want. Because if they hate and fear you, they're not going to say it in front of you. And if they truly prefer this arrangement, we don't have a good way of understanding them ourselves. We can't really investigate it on our own.
Out of character, it's still sticking in my mind that these parents don't have choices in this matter.
I don't think.
Yeah, Daniel is
either.
looking at Key again, just waiting to see what's the call.
Key's like wanting to roll a negotiation with this worm. Like,
Okay.
she does not want to kill this thing, but she's not going to move from her point that something needs to be done and changed.
Okay. So give me a negotiation roll. The difficulty.
This is gonna be like daunting or really bad. This thing
I
is
know. That's why I'm like, I don't know what the answer is. Like, out of character, I'm struggling with what she would actually do next, because she's not going to initiate combat, but she's going to literally try everything she can.
Can I use my triumph to give Key a boost on this roll?
Sure.
Like some degree of insight?
Yeah.
There's still a pamphlets and unionizing option out there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, that may be where this goes. We just like spread some literature among the kids. Like, remember, worms need you. You don't need worms.
She's satisfied that these kids
If you
are
want to
kind
go
of
home,
taken care of,
you
but
can.
she's pissed off that they're being literally used as fodder for a war they didn't start. Even though they might agree to be there or stay there, they're still being used in something they don't understand.
I'm still down for the idea of trying to like solve the mystery of the Frostbloods too. Like,
Right. So
I don't know if that's within the scope of our powers, but I'd be willing to pursue that lead.
Key's going, I think what she wants to do is to try to aim for something that everyone will be happy with. And we lost John.
Gone but not forgotten.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it seems like once an hour I've got to crash. So I don't know.
That's really weird. Alright, so renegotiation check. I need a hard difficulty, but it's 3 red.
This could be our first triple despair.
Can I flip a pip?
Go for it.
Oh, yeah. As if you would not be flipping a pip on this roll.
That gets me an
Go for
extra green dice, right?
Because
I have 2
Were
yellows.
you maxed out on yellows?
Yeah, I have 2 yellows in
Yes.
negotiation.
Yep, if you've got 2 yellows and no greens, then you get a green.
So 2 yellows, a green, and a boost against 3 reds.
Can be done.
Could be worse. Was it 3 reds or 3 reds and a purple?
No, it's going to be a hard difficulty, but the 3 red.
Oh,
or
hard. I
the hard is
misheard.
3 red.
I thought I heard daunting for some reason.
That was my rumor before.
Yeah, because it's basically what it is.
I think
is
you just planted it in my head.
Or she's going to be rolling her negotiation against hers.
I'm trying to think what else I can do to help boost this, but I don't think I have anything.
Jewel has nothing
Just
either.
time to let the dice decide. We put our hopes in you.
Let's see what the sisters say.
Yep. All right. Rolling the dice.
Fiona, take the wheel. Oh! Oh!
All right, so what are you trying to negotiate her to do? Because she's already told you, because you've been trying to push for them to be able to go home, and she already says that they can.
Can we confer about this before I say anything?
Sure. I need to get some more tea anyways.
Okay. Gotta think this through a little bit. Because the biggest stinking points, right, are she's using them as cannon fodder.
Well, but she's training them and then sending them out. I don't think she's like just sending kids out into the wild.
But they're still children. That this isn't the
It
war
is
that they...
It is still child soldiers, even if they aren't cannon fodder, so it's...
Yeah, it's like they aren't old enough to understand what they are being trained for, or why they're,
$15 minimum wage.
Fuck no. Make it 25.
So okay.
Yeah.
Would the age of 13 be acceptable? And it must be volunteers, like they have to, or do we have to say 16? Like adult-ish, adult adjacent? I don't know how many demands I'm able to ask with only 1 success.
Ooh.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you're negotiating, lay out everything we want.
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
And then
We'll
she
ask for
can-
more than we expect to
16.
Yeah.
They must
So
be
lay
16.
out everything that we want, and then we can negotiate what's most important.
16. The parents can come and visit their children. Sorry, I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Child labor laws, visitation. Do we want to argue to like give the towns in the area a greater say? Like ask that she meet with the towns to like discuss
the
what's
threat.
going to be done, like give them some say in what's going on, like where resources being used. I don't know how helpful this is. This may just be like empty posturing because she's still the worm in the mountain with all their kids.
Well,
It's got to be like win-win, right? Like that's what I'm going for. It's win-win.
If the townspeople had better understanding, they might fear her less, and it might make it less adversarial of a situation.
Clue in the townspeople on what's actually happening.
Hold at least one town hall meeting a month.
The kids need a union.
pay the families of the people that you take.
Severance or like a package if they die in her service.
Yes, but also maybe term limits, like you serve for 4 years.
Okay.
Like a specific tour of service what the kids do
Pretty
at the
much.
mountain.
Well, and then at the end they do actually have a choice to stay or
go back.
go. Kind of like the real army, you can
Right.
decide to re-up or you can go home.
I feel like that's all right. So the one that I'm not gonna, is the age. Oh, they can't be too young. I can't hear you, Tom.
Oh, I wasn't holding down my push to talk.
Oh.
Sorry. Do we want to try and argue that it has to be like fully voluntary from the kids that do come to, like, say, like they must personally agree to this? I don't know how helpful that is, because even with all of these things, which may or may not be accepted, there's so many loopholes.
No,
Ugh.
it's true, but
we will overthink this, and there's no way that we can possibly
at least at the very least
plan for every.
It's either this or stab the worm, and
right.
we don't really want that.
So we have figured out our set of demands to begin negotiations.
All right.
Okay. No child younger than 16. Parents can come visit their children here with no fear of reprisal. Clue in the townspeople of what's actually going on, about how these children aren't being mistreated and that they are being trained, that sort of thing. Severance if a child dies in her service. Term limits, or like a tour of service, maximum, of so many years. So they can, and then a choice to either stay in the service or go home, so she can keep her army if she wants. And fully voluntary of the children, the 16-year-olds.
All right, so these are the demands you give her?
Well, these are the points of negotiation of where we're going to start. Because and I will say from the get-go, what we are aiming for is a win-win. A win for you and a win for those poor families who don't know what's happening to their children.
Perhaps we could negotiate.
So I make it very clear to her that I'm trying to do this so she can continue on as she has been doing, but with some empathy for these parents.
All right. So as you go through this list, she kind of encircles you. And when she does, she is almost coiled about twice around the group.
I still don't flinch.
Her face stops right in front of yours. So you see a snout and a lot of teeth.
My back's straight. I'm looking right at her, not afraid.
We can try your way, but you get to pick one of your options.
So I only get one of those 6?
Yep.
Try to negotiate for 3. That's negotiation. We start high, she starts low. Don't give in.
Barter, barter.
That's what negotiating is.
Well, in truth, if this is to work, we need 3.
Do you need 3? Or is that just what you want?
I'm thinking it through because I know that if combination of some of these that it would work really well.
Right. Which 3 do you want?
Sorry, I'm in a sidebar for a minute here. I'm okay giving up Severance because, like she said, she gives them skills. That's fine, whatever. I want to keep cluing in the townspeople because they won't be so upset about it if they know, like, that this is essentially sending your kids off to, like, military school. 16 and fully voluntary. Those are the other 2 that I think would be. That sound reasonable, or
Personally, I might skip this is what I would more think of as I would skip the cluing in of the townspeople to go for
parents?
a tour of duty or parents visiting.
Well, I think parents visiting was in my original 3. So the severance or the term limit.
No, you said
Fully 16 parents can come to visit, and oh wait, you're right. I didn't do that one. Okay, 16 parents come to visit and term limits. We would get rid of fully voluntary though.
unless you want to do fully voluntary and get rid of.
Ooh, we can get rid of 16 because if it's fully voluntary, anyone younger than a certain age won't want to go. Okay.
In theory, yeah.
That might be the way to go. But I leave it up to you to decide the final
All
because
right.
this is your show.
I'm going to go with term limits then because, okay, so parents can come to visit, a term limit on the term of service, 4 years, and fully voluntary. And I will caveat again, the term limit, if they want to stay, they can, but at the end of their 4 years, then they can go home.
They have every right to choose. They shouldn't be guilted or something.
And I do think fully voluntary would mean more older kids or kids with a death wish, or just need a sense of adventure, but then again, maybe their parents will want to get rid of them. That was a sidebar.
Kids with bad parents.
Or kids with bad parents, yes. So
I mean, we gotta trust if we're removing the age limit, we're just gonna have to trust that the kids
know themselves.
know themselves enough to know if they want to leave their family or not.
It's only 12 a year. We didn't negotiate that away.
I can give you. Parents can come and visit. Perhaps that might show my children through their training what they're fighting for. Make it more personal to them. voluntary, that may be an issue. We'll see how it goes. But term limits, we're not doing that.
What is the matter of doing term limits if you say they can go at any time they please?
To get fully trained takes about 5 years.
So then a term limit of 6, 5 years of training, 1 year of active service, or a term limit of I'll go back on that. A term limit of 8 years, 5 years of training, 3 years of service. They can choose to stay and fight in your armies or be your guards, or they can go home, no repercussions. Who knows? By putting this in, you might get even more loyalty, and those children's children may volunteer.
So you're gonna pull back a little. Head just cocks from side to side. We'll try it your way. But know this, that when this doesn't work out and there's no volunteers, she gets real close again. The blood that's shed is on you. The death that I could have protected them from is on you.
I am not afraid. We will find whatever this is that is plaguing your land, and we will
Ula,
eliminate that threat.
Ula is kind of like, are you sacrificing these children?
She turns. Why would I?
Well, it doesn't make sense. If you think that nobody will volunteer, then you won't protect them. But it doesn't make sense.
Let me put it in words that, or in a manner that you'll understand. If I don't get volunteers, I don't get soldiers. Soldiers can't defend villages. People die.
See, this all just comes down to an issue of marketing here. It's one thing
It totally is.
to force people to do what you want, to coerce it. But real power is getting people to do what you want willingly. Thinking it was their idea to begin with. You just need to spin your image. Not as overlord, but as benefactor. As someone who provides a valuable service. Heck, you could probably even make these people pay you for the privilege of taking their kids.
Like a military school. I'm just saying.
Which, as Daniel says, it doesn't like the idea either, but you know what? Anything we can say to,
I mean,
to stroke
honestly,
this worm's
you're-
ego.
Danielle's
yeah.
right.
It
We
is
can go
it's
back
totally
to-
a marketing image.
We can go back and start being like, man, that Ice Queen, those kids are getting really taken care of up there. Like, they're getting trained, you know?
They're well taken care of, and I just heard that the Ice Queen was going to invite their families up to visit.
Yeah, and then she's going to start, voluntary recruitment. So any kid that wants to get these really awesome transferable skills for the future.
And you only have to serve 8 years.
Daniel wonders privately if this is what it's like to give into the system.
Celebrity endorsements.
It's a
Now we gotta
win-win.
now we just gotta pair up with, like, all the sporting events and stuff and start spreading our message that way.
Put
Start teaching this worm about advertising and ideology.
So if we put a billboard in this village and this village, you're gonna get so many impressions a day with all of the traders going back and forth.
What are your engagement numbers when you hang up a post in a village?
How well versed are you in social media? Do you have carrier pigeons?
We really gotta come up with something else.
The original tweet.
Carrier pigeons are so slow. How
What
are
about
you with magical
about-
communication?
What about snowgrams?
I was thinking like a magical TikTok that she like records herself doing something cool and then sends it to her constituents.
A
There you
literal tablet that you just inscribe with magical messages.
I like the idea of the TikTok. She can make little videos of the kids, having fun while they're training and send it out to entice more people.
But then it just turns into real TikTok, and there are then still millions of like people commenting like, "Oh, look at this propaganda video." It's just the kids like playing a game together. Look at this sinister state-run organization.
I could totally see though, like all of us like trying to sell her on this idea of marketing.
I can't tell if we've actually done
know,
good here is the
like-
thing. If we convince
like,
her, this could be
take what-
worse. This could somehow
Take
be
what we've been
worse.
saying and translate it into Jaltzland speak.
Do you have
I said what I said before.
do you have a person that's good with people? You can send them out to be your marketing
Ambassador,
ambassador. Talk you up.
take
Yeah,
your
the
most
kid's good at
personable
talking to a
contingent.
crowd.
Yeah, your
No, see
mo-
what you do is you send out one of the ones that are older that's been with her for a long time so that they can attest to, hey, yeah, no, see, I've been there since I was like, 12 and it was pretty good, I've been taken really good care of.
I mean, look at these biceps. I could.
And
Build
you
a
should
house.
see me swing a sword.
Mm-hmm.
So she looks at you guys. Just kind of uncoils from around you. Again, we'll try it your way. If it doesn't work, it's all on you.
Pleasure doing business with you, ma'am.
I suppose that's a burden we'll have to live with.
She kind of moves about 15, 20 feet away, and then you just see her disappear into the snow.
Well, I'm not sure how productive this day was, but you did something that no one else believed. Well, not really anyone else here believed was possible, Asha. So,
Let's start calling me Keela again. If they're gonna find me, let them find me.
Ula kind of perks up like, do I get to kill them if they come after you?
fuck. Daniel's just going to pat his sword up and say, "All right then, Keela."
Nice to have you back, Keela.
Jorlak goes and gives you a big old kiss on the face, on the cheek.
Gonna make the paperwork a bit of a hell, though, but we'll deal with that back when we're in civilization.
Yeah, we can do that.
Just like
Ashley
reshape
is
the
my
K,
middle name.
reshape the A to look like a K, and you still have the A at the end. You kind of scribble the rest out.
If this was misentered on the original permit, we need it updated.
Asha could be my middle name.
All right.
It was Xeroxed incorrectly.
John is my middle name.
Is it really?
Oh.
Very interesting. I did not know that.
Intriguing.
Okay, do
We've learned many things today.
you want to keep going with the session or hear the long story?
I'm genuinely unsure. Should we call so we can listen to the long story?
we can basically call it here as you guys are heading, I'm gonna assume, back to town.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good stopping place for the moment.
Well, thank you all for letting
figure out what
Key
we're
have
doing
a
next.
moment. Because she
Hell
definitely
yeah.
did.
Hey, this was Key's
This was
time
your
to
story.
shine.
It was a proud moment for her, for sure.
All right, for those watching, thanks for sticking around. Sorry it's gonna be a little bit short tonight, but that's okay. It happens sometimes. Hopefully we should be back next Monday for some more. And I guess we'll find out what this group of adventurers is gonna do next.
Probably kill something. Ula hasn't killed anything in a long time.
I need to
Yeah,
stab something.
Key's gonna step back for a while now. She pushed things there, definitely. Although now she really wants to find out what this like thing is that's this evil.
This
Oh.
curse that has always existed and no one knows anything
Uh-huh.
about it.
We
Yeah.
are totally going after that.
All
I know,
see
I
you guys
know.
next Monday.